Say hi, Max! All right. Everyone in the town of Scribble was as happy as could be. Why, you might ask? The answer is simple. Everyone was just as fine a scribbler as everyone else, except perhaps the mayor, who was the best scribbler of all. But Mayor Pennib did have a right to be better than all the rest. He had won awards for his cat scratching. That's what his writing looked like, as if a cat had taken its claws to a piece of paper. Yes, everyone in the town of Scribble was as happy as can be. That is, until the day Rodney Scribble was given his first pencil and paper. You see, Rodney Scribble could not scribble. Rodney Scribble could only write. But you see, Rodney was named after his great-great-great-great-grandfather, the Rodney Scribble, who the town of Scribble was named after. Rodney's parents had high hopes for their only son. Now, it was a sunny day, the day Rodney's teacher, Miss Scratchit, handed out pieces of paper to her class for the first time. "Boys and girls," she said, scratching an itch. "Oh. Today we shall learn how to scribble." She walked over to the chalkboard and screech, 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 screech the chalk across the board. The boys cheered and the girls clapped. Miss Scratchit scribbled so beautifully. "Now, class, put paper to pencil and scribble at will." Miss Scratchit walked around the room. She looked over the shoulders of each of her pupils to see just how good a scribbler he or she was, and smiled, scratched, with pleasure. On days like this, she was proud to be a teacher, but on this day she was so proud that when she looked over Rodney's shoulder, she did not notice that he was not scribbling like everyone else. Rodney was writing the words, "My dark spot." Miss Scratchit walked 2 desks away before she stopped in the middle of a scratch, then ran back to Rodney's desk. "Oh my! Rodney Scribble cannot scribble. Rodney Scribble can only write," she said, half in a whimper, half in a scream. "Call his parents. Call the mayor," she cried. "This kid can write. I'll never sleep another night." Now, you're expected to remember those lines because you're going to say them later. Were you listening? We'll see. Miss Scratchit was so overcome with emotion that she ran out into the hall. Now, before the door could slam shut behind her, the principal, Mr. Waterproof Ink, stepped into the room. "What's going on here?" said Mr. Waterproof Ink, the scowl on his face indelible. All eyes turned towards Rodney. "My dear boy," he said, walking up to Rodney's desk, the scowl on his face more indelible than ever. "Go ahead, laugh." "My dear boy, are you the cause of all this commotion? Well, answer me, young lad, before I..." "What's this? What's this? You haven't... You have! Oh my!" And he thought for a few minutes before he knew what to say, and when he did speak, this is what he said. Do you remember your words? "Rodney Scribble cannot scribble. Rodney Scribble can only write," he said, half in a whimper, half in a scream. "Call his parents, call the mayor." "He's there. Call the mayor," he cried. "This kid can write. I'll never sleep another night. That's what Miss Scratchit said, piped up the class. Why won't you sleep? Well, I just won't, and that's that. Then he walked out into the hall, spilling his ink everywhere. Now, before the door could slam shut behind him, Rodney's parents stepped into the room. What's the problem? Said Scribble Dad. Your teacher called us, said Scribble Mom. Why the fuss? Poor Rodney tried to slip his worksheet into his desk, but his father grabbed his hand and looked. Words. You've written words, my son. Scribble is our name. Scribble is our fame. Our lives in Scribbletown will never be the same. But why, said Rodney, I only have written the words we speak. Your great-great-great-great-grandfather, the Rodney Scribble, will roll over in his grave and break his pencil. Now, his parents, for the longest time, didn't know what to say. And so the class broke the silence. And this is what they said. Rodney Scribble cannot scribble. Rodney Scribble can only write. They said, half in a whimper, half in a scream. Call his parents, call the mayor, he cried. This kid can write. We'll never sleep another night. But why? They said. We are his parents. And then they ran out into the hall. Now, before the door could slam shut behind them, His Honor, Mayor Pennib, stepped into the room. Who's the nuisance? Who's the pest? Who's the one who has made the rest of us look so dumb? Said Mayor Pennib. He's the one, said the class, pointing at Rodney Scribble, who by now had bowed his head in shame. So you're the one. You've caused such a kerfuffle that every secretary from here to City Hall has bitten off her eraser. Let's see this word you caused so much mischief with. Rodney timidly pointed at the words, my dog Spot. Not one, not two, but three. 3 written words, and each as easily read as day. We're done. We're finished. We're all destroyed. But why? Said the class. And it took Mayor Pennib a very long time to answer, but when he did, this is what he said. Rodney Scribble cannot scribble. Rodney Scribble can only write. He said, half in a whimper, half in a scream. Call his parents, call the mayor, they cried. This kid can write. I'll never sleep another night. You are the mayor, piped up all the children. Well, I know that. I also know that Rodney's parents have been here and went, but you wouldn't want me to spoil the chorus now, would you? Mayor Pennib was so overcome with emotion that he ran out into the hall, dropping his pen nib cap. Now, before the door could slam shut behind him, Rodney's best friend, Kelly Speedball, pointed at something that she had scribbled in the margin of her workbook. But it was not so much scribbled as the words, my dog Spot. And you know, Rodney, in the end, he became more famous than his great-great-great-great grandfather. And eventually,